Hey you guys, it's your girl Lily here. Alright, so I'm going to be telling you guys on Thursdays I'm going to have story times and video reviews. Story times is where I just sit down and kind of tell you guys about my life or just have a good story, and then also I'm going to do video reviews, so I'm going to watch a video and just have opinion about it, and then you guys in the comments can sort of put down how you feel about how I reviewed it. Do you guys have a strong opinion about it? And then on Sundays, I'm going to do more of a Sunday fun day type deal where I'm going to hang out with a bunch of people. Anything fun and exciting, I will leave on Sundays. Yeah, just watch out for that. Today I'm going to be talking about what got me into boxing, sort of where the love came from, and just why I love it so much. Let me take you guys all the way back. So, freshman year of high school, I was very awkward, very shy, didn't talk to many people. I didn't go to any dances. I was just the lonely kid. I really didn't know how to be social. I didn't know how to socialize with people. So every time I tried to have a conversation with someone, I was always like shy. I always kept my head down. I didn't know what to say half the time, and I just stayed to myself most of the time. I did a lot of sports my freshman year of high school. I did basketball, soccer. I just tried to get myself active and just doing things, get my mind off of stuff. So my freshman year of high school, I didn't find anything that clicked with me. I did all these sports and I just felt like an outsider, and I just thought, why am I doing this? I don't fit in anywhere. I don't talk to anyone. After we win or lose a game, I just go home. I don't want to celebrate with anyone. I just never could connect with anyone. It wasn't until I talked with my dad, and I would visit my dad sometimes. And when we sat down and talked, he went to my game one time. He went to one of my games, and he saw how aggressive I was. When I did soccer, when I did basketball, I was always pushing girls out. I was just like, move out of the way. I was just always angry. And my dad saw that, and he told me, he's like, Lena, why don't you do boxing? And I said, you know what? I don't know, Dad. We kept losing our basketball. Like, every time I did basketball, we always went out and played, and we always lost. And I remember that I always thought it was my fault. I always thought every time we lost a match that it was my fault that we lost, and that the team was good. I was just the terrible person. I was just not good at all. It wasn't until one night, I just got really angry with myself. I didn't think I was good, and I knew I was trash, and I remember I was so angry, and I just started bouncing up and down for no reason. I don't know where it came from. I was just looking in the mirror and I was bouncing up and down, and I noticed my feet were kind of shifting from one side to the other. It was kind of having this little like rhythm to my feet. I don't understand how it happened. I was just mad and angry at myself, and I don't know, I just bounced, and all of a sudden I had this rhythm, this flow I never knew I had. And I thought it was kind of weird at first that I was doing this bouncing rhythm that I never knew where it came from. And this is before I watched boxing. This is before anything in my life I even considered boxing. I was just bouncing on my feet, and I didn't understand why. And I thought, wow, that's weird. I don't know if anyone else does that. I don't know. I just remember being in the locker room and doing that, and it was just crazy to be mad at myself and bounce and not understand. But yeah, so I remember after I kept losing it, I just stopped doing sports altogether, and I just got really upset with myself that I thought I was a horrible person. I didn't know how to do anything. Then another time I was watching boxing on TV, and I remember as I was watching boxing, on Saturday they had this HBO fight, and I don't remember who was fighting, but I just remember watching them fight on TV, and I was so engaged. I was so happy, and I was just like watching them and like, wow, what are they doing? What are they doing? And I was just so in the screen, like I could hear people sort of drift off with the voices. Like I was just me and the TV. I was just like engaged, and I didn't know what that meant. I just couldn't take my eyes off of it. I was just so mesmerized of what I was watching. And my dad, told me, he was like, hey, you still thinking about boxing? And I was like, yeah, I really want to start boxing. I was like, Dad, I want to box. Dad, I want to box. I really want to box. And he was like, okay, I'll do everything I can to get you started. So finally, he tells me about his friend who knows a guy who knows a guy. And I finally get into a gym. Before I walked in the gym, I will tell you, I was so nervous. I couldn't believe I was actually going there. I didn't know what to expect. I was like, man, I hope I'm not trash. I hope I'm not terrible. Like, I was super scared. I remember, like, I was like, my hands were shaking because I've never seen anyone box before in real life. I was just surprised. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know how to react or behave. I was just all over the place. There is like a gray door before you get into the gym, and you go through the back door. It's kind of like a back door type thing. So when I went up the steps and my dad opened the door, I remember walking in and I looked around and I was like, "Oh my God." My eyes lit up. I was so happy. I remember looking at this one person, he was hitting the bag, and then I was looking at another person and they were sparring, and then I looked and this one area, this guy was hitting the speed bag, and I remember seeing it, and I couldn't tell you how I felt. I remember the coach approached us, and he was like, "Oh, you're new, huh? Hi, nice to meet you." And he didn't do well with girls. He didn't like to teach girls. He thought girls didn't, really want to box. He just wasn't down for it. And I remember he asked me in a tone, he was like, "Do you really want to be here? Do you want to get started?" And let me tell you what I was wearing. I was wearing blue baggy jeans, a blue baggy shirt. Everything was baggy. I had, good bra, everything. Like, I didn't want to sweat, and it wasn't even a sports bra. I just was like, let's go. I'm ready. Let's do this. And he looked at me and he's like, "Are you sure?" And everything. I was like, "Yeah, let's go, let's go, let's go." And I was out there and I was like, just so happy. And I remember he's like, "Okay, jump rope." And I remember the first time I jumped rope, I could not jump rope for nothing. I remember I was watching people's feet next to me and they were just looking at me like wondering, what am I going to do? Like, who's this girl? What is she doing? And I remember I was trying to jump rope and it looked really terrible. And yeah, I just remember it was a wonderful experience. I would never take it back. It was when I first walked in and I looked around, I kind of knew this was going to be it. This is me. I knew it was me before I even started boxing. I just walked in and could just see people's passion as they were working out, as they were hitting the bag, and I could just see that these people really mean what they're doing. They love what they're doing. I could just see their art. It's like, I can't describe to you how happy and confused and amazed all in one. It was just the best experience. And I remember when I jumped rope, I was terrible. And I told myself, I'm going to get good at this. And I'm going to get so good at this that people are going to love me jump roping. And so I practiced and I practiced and I practiced. And mind you, my coach, he just gave me, he would check up on me time to time, but he didn't really work with me. He kind of was like, "Okay, work on your feet." And that's cool because I needed to work on my stance. And I remember to get my coach's attention, to show the coaches that I was serious, I had to show them, "Hey, I'm here to box. I really want to do this. Like, let me show you." So I knew the first plan of action was to get good at jump roping. If I'm good at jump roping and I show the coaches that, look, I took my time to jump rope, I took my time to learn the stance, to learn how to move in the ring, things like that, you will take me serious. And so I did everything I could to get my coach's attention. I'm not saying like he completely ignored me, like I didn't even exist. Like, he wasn't like, "Oh my God, she's terrible," but he wasn't like really focused into, okay, she's right here. And I remember I didn't get my first fight for like months, like months. It was crazy. But connection I have with my coaches now, they're like my second dads, because I could go to them with anything now and just tell them, "Hey, I'm having a bad day," or "This is happening," or "My ankle." And they have been really big supporters of me getting better. They have been in my corner ever since that day. And, and leading up, like kind of working with me, they have just been my biggest fans. And I'm really grateful for my gym, because I think without boxing, I would be super lost, because with boxing, I know I have something I love and I want to share it with people. And starting off my freshman year and then going through high school with it helped me find a place that I didn't know I had in life. It gave me a sense of, okay, there are people who care about me. Okay, I can get far with this. I just have to mentally prepare myself and get me to where I need to be. And I respect boxing 100%. I am very passionate about it. I love it. I get sad when I can't fully 100% put myself to it because I know I want to, and I have to really resist and care about my body and care about me getting better. And boxing has just been there. It's like it's kind of been that friend or that person that you've always liked hanging out with, or that, or just, I don't know how to explain it. It's like boxing isn't just a sport. To me, it's like a safe sort of home, a safe sort of place for me to go to. And when I wasn't injured and I was giving everything I had in the ring, I felt, not gonna lie, when I first went to the ring, I did so bad. I was getting beat up left and right. I was like falling off. I was just all over the place. And I'm so grateful that I'm able to be in other people's corners the way my coaches have with me. And I don't know, it's, to me, the journey of starting boxing happens every day. And I know that sounds weird, like, you've already started boxing, how do you still have this passion for it? Like, do you ever get tired of it? And with me, it's like there are days when boxing can be kind of tiring and really hard on me, but I've just learned to let it be me. I don't know. It's like when someone says what describes you, who are you? I always just say just mostly boxing. Like, I just remember long nights of trying to jump rope and be good at it, and it's just, yeah, I don't know what I would do if I didn't jump into boxing and learn the love at an early age. And yeah, where I had these two kids that I was going to school with, like in high school, and these two kids were like, "Hey, you know how to box?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Can you teach us?" And so on my lunch break, those two boys, they would come down to the track, and I would make them, I was an early coach before I was even a coach. Like, I was learning myself. And so they asked me, and I was like, "Sure, sure." And they were running the track, and I remember I was watching them, and I was, keeping tabs, and I would tell them how to throw punches. And this was before I even became an assistant coach. Like, now I'm an assistant coach. But back then, my freshman year, I had these two guys help me. Your two guys asked if they can get help to box, and I just remember, "Yeah, let's do this. Let's go." I love it. I love it so much. So yeah, that's kind of a little bit of why I started boxing and kind of why it's been such a big part of my life. And when I was injured, it really tore me apart because that's kind of all I knew. And it's kind of like a piece of me was missing. And I knew it was missing because it didn't feel right. It didn't feel good to just not be able to be a part of it, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's kind of my little story of how I started boxing. And yeah, I love it. I love it so, so much. I don't know, I love it super, super much. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys liked my video, and this was just kind of a little bit of a story time. I always forget to add this. In the comments below, tell me, is there any sport that you have played that you've loved a whole bunch that you cannot give up? Or is there something like a hobby or something you love to do that you love so much that you want to make it your own thing, that you kind of want to focus on? And if you could right now leave your job or leave whatever you're doing to solely focus on that one thing, would you do it? So leave down in the comments, would you do the favorite thing that you love to do? Or yeah, just, yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.